Welcome back to another episode of the Payday 3 map making guide. In this episode, we're going to be going over how to add in the materials from Payday 3 into the Unreal Engine. If you were playing between episodes, you might have noticed there's nothing there in terms of any of the static meshes or anything like that. That's because, unfortunately, unless we get explicit permission from Starbreeze, we cannot share textures and materials and models over the internet. Because of that, have this guide, and we're going to show you how to get those materials, textures, and meshes by yourself. So to start off, we're going to be using Fmodel for a lot of today's episode. If you didn't download it previously, you're going to need it now. If you first run it, what you might encounter is it'll ask you to select the game. Just make sure you go to the base folder of Payday 3 and hit OK. Then you'll notice that all of these files here are going to be red and you can't click on them. What you'll need to do is go to directory, AES, and add the key here, which I'll link in the description below. Once both of those is done, you should be green and you should be able to select on any and all of them. I like to select the loading mode to multiple and just select pack chunk labeled ones because those are the default ones. All of these other ones are mods. If I don't select on them, it won't load any of them here, meaning this is only base game files. So the next couple of steps, they're going to take a while. All of the static meshes, materials, and textures for the base game props, all located in this environment tab. I've come up with a method for it to be very easy, but a little time consuming. We need to start off by hitting right click on the environment and exporting all of the UAsset files of the environments folder. This will take about 10 to 15 minutes. Once that is done, in your Fmodel output will be an exports folder here. Rename that to mesh. Next, we're going to export all of the textures. To do that, again, click the environment folder, right click, and hit export textures. Do the same thing, label it exports textures. Once you've exported both the meshes and the textures, we're going to be doing a little bit of a cleanup. For the textures, you're going to go in and you're going to type in .hdr and delete any and all HDR files. Next, for the meshes, there's two things that we need to delete. One is all material instances. I like to search using mi underscore and the star here. It'll show all the material instances, but also anything such as minute. So be careful, just delete anything that starts with mi underscore. Once that's been completed, there are some animation files that break. They are labeled a underscore. This one is a little bit harder to find, so I like to just go to it normally, and it is located in common, interactable, safe. You'll note there'll be a couple of a underscore files here. Delete those. If you ever build, just make sure you double check tempo that there's no errors at the end. If you didn't delete the a underscore files, they'll say it at the end of the tempo file. Once both have been cleaned up, we're going to be importing them, but in a specific order. We're going to start off with importing the texture files and just drag and drop the entire environment folder into your content folder. After the import's been complete, you can launch up a new project, and this next step is going to take a while. It took me about an hour, so I'd recommend do this, go watch a video, a movie, or do some chores. Because what happens is it's going to scan all the changes that you are doing. There's about 3,300 textures that we're going to be importing here. We're going to let this count up, 3,300, and then once it's complete, you're going to hit import. I'm going to do it early in this instance so that I can move on. Once it's importing, you'll notice this progress bar here. It's going to go all the way to the right. You'll notice some pop-ups come up saying we imported this as a normal map. If you just let it be, it'll eventually disappear. Once this has been completed, there'll be another progress bar that shows up here, and you need to wait for that one to finish as well. If at any point Unreal Engine hangs or crashes in the middle of this, do not worry, the progress saves. Just start it back up again and let it finish. In this instance, I've already imported it, so I'm not going to continue. I'm just going to close. Once all the textures have been imported, what you're going to do is you're going to go down to the description and download a couple of files. One is going to be the new map fix text file, and the second is going to be the object info.json. What this JSON file is all of the meshes in the game with its corresponding texture names and all of the textures that are associated with that material. And what this code is, this code inside Unreal Engine scans this JSON file, searches this directory for all of the textures, and creates all of the material instances. In this case, this code is written by ChatGPT, so if anyone wants to be able to rewrite it by hand and make it a little bit better, much appreciated. I'm just not a coder, so I made this as a proof of concept using ChatGPT. Just make sure before you import it that this directory is directory to your folder, and this directory is to the JSON file. So you've done that. You're going to copy paste this text, and in the Unreal Engine, you're going to go to Window, Developer Tools, Output Log, and here you're going to go down to the bottom left, change this Python, paste the Python script in, and hit enter. This will create a material instance for all of the materials in the base game. Once that has been complete, you will notice you have all of the material instances and all of the textures, and the last thing you need to do is import all of the meshes. And that is as simple as grabbing the environment folder and drag and dropping it in. Just make sure when it's done, do not override anything. If you do, you'll be overriding your material instances and the textures that we just imported. Once both have been completed, you'll notice you'll be able to import any model into the game. So I can, for instance, type in table, and here it is, a bank table from No Rest for the Wicked with its corresponding textures. Super cool, but the downside of this tool is it's not perfect. Again, this goes back to if someone wants to rewrite it, they can potentially fix some of these issues. These issues being, in some instances, the default Unreal Engine texture is added instead of the corresponding Payday 3 texture, and in some instances, normal map is added instead of the texture. But for the most part, despite these two flaws, you'll get the general idea of what the models look like and can build a map